This is your weekly moment of growth. At this point, most of you guys, if not all of you, when you're listening to this episode, already really know my backstory and how I kind of got to where I am today. Now, if I go back and I look at, when I was 16, 17 years old, I would have gotten the senior superlative for at least likely to succeed in high school. I had a 1.7 GPA, my mom was in the middle of a 20-year opioid battle, and my dad was in jail. And if you look at the statistics of the world, they say if your parent has an addiction, you have a 50% chance of getting an addiction. If your parent's in jail, you have a 50% chance of going to jail. And do the math. At that point, I'm 100% screwed, right? But I believe those type of statistics and mindsets are really limiting beliefs that the world puts on us. We're told that that is the case. If this happens, then this happens. There's even simple stories like a young girl who's in the mall with her mother and she hides behind her mom's leg when her mom runs into her friend instead of saying hello to her mom's friend. And the mom says, "Oh, that's Mary. She's just shy." And immediately Mary carries along with her that she's a shy individual for the rest of her life. Limiting beliefs come from all over the place, whether we instill them in ourselves or somebody else instills them into us, right? So, we can say to ourselves, we're too old, we're too fat, we're too slow, we're not smart enough, we're not important enough, we're not worthy, we're not rich enough. We could say all of these things to ourselves and create these limiting beliefs in our heads. But what we need to realize are there are two types of beliefs, empowering and disempowering. And that's it, one or the other. Like you can't go in any other directions. So I ask you, what types of beliefs are you instilling in yourself? Are you saying I'm too fat? Or are you saying I'm on my way to get healthy? Are you saying I'm not good enough? Or are you saying I am worthy? We have to change the thought processes in our mind in order to really begin to believe in ourselves and push forward. Now, everywhere we turn and anything that we try and do, people are going to put their own limiting beliefs on you. When you look at my live event, Growth Not Movement Live, which I hold in Reading, Pennsylvania, everybody said, you can't hold that in Reading. Nobody will go to Reading. Nobody will spend that type of money in Reading. Nobody will actually want to attend that event. It'll be hard to get those types of speakers that you want, etc. I just kind of rolled my eyes and I moved forward anyway. And what happened was a sold-out event where people came from 15 states in Canada. And there's already people coming from 16 states in Canada this year, and we're still 5 months out. But you're probably thinking, Justin, easier said than done, right? You have this reach of the podcast, you have this and all these other things. But the honest truth is I had those same limiting beliefs about where I lived. I had those same limiting beliefs about my life that I told myself that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I can never make it. And look, as we grow and we overcome these limiting beliefs, there's more. We constantly face them. We constantly have to push through. So the question is, how do we break the cycle? You see, we all have this self-governing mechanism inside of our brains. It's there to protect us, right? It's there to make sure that we don't get hurt. It's there to make sure that we don't get our heart broken. It's there to make sure that we do not fail. And the truth is, it is impossible to get rid of that self-governing mechanism. But what we can do is we can adjust it. We can constantly push it to the next level. And so how do we do that? Number one, we have to purposely put ourselves in uncomfortable situations in order to shock the system, right? In order to raise our energetic vibrations, we have to make sure that we are getting uncomfortable. Whether that's joining a new group where you have to speak publicly, or that's making sure that we're surrounding ourselves with people that are on a higher level than us. It could be as simple as jumping out of a plane to really shock the system, to say, I can do things that I never thought that I could possibly do. We also have to surround ourselves with individuals who think bigger, like I said before, right? If we're number one in the pack, if we're the smartest guy in the room, we're never going to get better. We have to make sure that we are learning from, hiring, joining masterminds where people are better than us in order to push ourselves out of our limiting beliefs. When you see people that are successful, it's easier to say, okay, I can do that too. But when you're with people who aren't as successful as you or aren't achieving great things, you say, this is impossible. So make sure you're surrounding yourselves with the right people. We also have to understand that if at any time we're filling our time with things that are not adding to our life, whether that's negativity, whether that's unhealthy behaviors, whether that's an unhealthy relationship, we have to remove it. We have to get rid of it immediately. Anything that is taking us down will take that internal mechanism and drop it lower. So we have to get rid of any negativity that is around us. We also have to know, and we have to truly, truly know what I'm about to say. The mind is always eavesdropping on our self-talk. I'm going to say that again. The mind is always eavesdropping on our self-talk. So we have to make sure that that constant internal dialogue of what we're telling ourselves is positive. I am enough. I am powerful. I am abundant. I am wealthy. I am loved. I can give love. I am great. We have to say these things internally, subconsciously. We cannot allow our mind to eavesdrop on that self-talk when it's negative. So we have to make sure that it's always on the positive. When somebody compliments you, when somebody gives you good advice, don't talk back. Thank them. Receive it. These are all things that we can do to truly begin to get rid of our negative self-talk and our limiting beliefs. I believe that you can truly overcome any limiting belief that you've set on yourself or somebody else has set on you or the world has set on you by doing these simple things. So I challenge you to think of any of these negative self-talks and these limiting beliefs that you've put on yourself and change the dialogue, change the script. One thing that I do is I jot down any of the limiting beliefs that I have and I cross it out or I burn the piece of paper and I write down what I believe can be true. We have to create exercises for ourselves to break through. And so hopefully this talk kind of gave you a little bit of an idea of how to shift out of that limiting belief and really begin to live the life of your dreams.